Madeline, it's me, Rachel. I just wanted to put together this video for you about hand sewing. I'm really excited that you want to sew leather. It's one of the funnest things that you can do. It's not one of the easiest things you can do, but it definitely has its rewards. I'm going to show you kind of the tools and stuff that I used when I was hand sewing and kind of how I did it. Now, my way is probably not the perfect way. But it'll just kind of give you a start. I kind of wish somebody had showed me, but I just kind of pulled things together from different people, and this is the method that I used. Now, you know, I'm able to have my machine, which I was really blessed in getting, but, you know, until then I had to use my hands because it's the cheapest and easiest way. So let me get everything set up, and then I will show you what to do. Thanks. Okay, alright, so actually let me take this here and I'm going to show you the tools that I used. Let's see, I just used a regular mallet. I got this one from Tandy. I got a couple different ones. I would suggest this one. There's a lighter one, like a wooden one you can use, but I don't think you get enough force behind it. It does make a lot of noise, so you gotta kind of be, you know, go somewhere where you're not annoying people. This is a diamond awl. This is what I use, you know, after I punch my holes, if there's any leather left that I need to punch through. Be sure it has the diamond tip, so it matches your holes. This is what I use to punch my holes. You can get this from Tandy. It's just a diamond hole chisel set. And as you see, it has a lot of different sets with it. I can't find all of mine, but the one that I used the most is the 1/8 inch. The 4 because like when doing nose bands and you're going around corners, it was easier to do that. Or you can do the 2. You know, just and these are really easy to change out. It comes with this handle, and you just screw it in, and then, you know, this, you can use it to punch your holes. Here's some just regular sewing needles, hand sewing from Tandy. Those really aren't the ones that I used. I got my needles most of the time from Hobby Lobby. Let's see here if I can find. I use these. I got them from Hobby Lobby mostly because they were really cheap, but they work just the same. They were by, that other brand that Hobby Lobby carries besides Tandy in their leather section. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, this is the needle I use, but you can use the ones from Tandy. They're really very similar. As far as the thread, I would suggest a wax thread. You can buy non-waxed and wax it yourself, but this is just easier. I would get this from Springfield Leather. I like theirs the best. Tandy had some. But let me see if I have some of theirs. It's a lot. Let me see if I can get this to clear out for you. It's a lot thinner, and I don't know. They have a white. They don't carry this kind of more neutral cream color. But I don't know. I just didn't like how Tandy's worked. It was really slick. So when I was hand sewing, it was really hard to keep it in the holes. This kind of has some grip to it, so it would hold in the holes when I'm stitching. And then, of course, some, you know, regular scissors to cut. And then I used an edge guide to go along the edges first to mark where I was going to do the holes. And then, of course, just 2 pieces of leather. Make sure, you know, they're cut evenly. These, you know, of course aren't, you know, nice on the sides, but I mean, you know, if you're doing a product for somebody, make sure it's nice and even. And then another thing is what you're going to want is this underneath, this piece of rubber. You can buy some Poundo board or something from Tandy, but it's kind of expensive, so I had my husband go and just get me a piece of rubber, thick rubber, and it works just fine. Because I live in a duplex, I have to do my pounding in our, not in this room, in the bedroom. Do it in another room. So I have my granite in there, but I place this on top of my granite just to get a little bit sturdier surface, and then I just pound away. But always be sure you're pounding on this, because if you don't, these tips will get very dull. And this set is probably about $45, so, I mean, unless you're going to want to be replacing sets, you don't want to do that. I think you can sharpen them, but once you dull them, it's just they're kind of ruined. So, let me set this camera down so I can use, because I only have one hand to use, and, we will get started. Woo! Okay, alrighty. So I think the camera's set up for you to see, and I'll kind of try and move this so you can see. What I do is, of course, I take my pieces of leather. First off, I would do any tooling that I needed to do, and then I will take my edge guide, set it. You can take this little screw out and adjust it however length you want. I have it set right now for my machine, or how far I have it there. When I hand sewed, I did a little bit closer to the edge, but with that, I kind of want to make sure that, the needle isn't getting too close to the edge. But this is what I use, and I take my piece of leather, and I take it along the edge, and I just drag it along like this, and as you see, it'll kind of pull out a piece of leather, and it'll make that little groove. I don't know if you can see that. And then what I would do, of course, if I was doing any type of border, tooling border or anything like that, I would do it after I would do this edge guide. That way it would be nice and even and set up. Then I take my hole punch here, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to line it up. One thing, now, I don't know if other people do this, but this is just what I found easier. I take some water, and I get my leather just a little bit wet, like as I was, casing it or getting ready to tool it. And I take this, and I line it up on the holes. And, of course, I'm not on my granite right now, and I'm trying to be a little quiet so I don't wake anybody up. But, as you can see, it will punch out the holes evenly. And what I would do is, it took really long, but it just kind of helped me out. So I would get everything looking even and nice and professional. I would punch my holes on one piece of leather, and then I would take and I would do it on my back piece of leather as well. And then what I would do is I would make sure that they're lined up, glue the pieces together, and then that way when you're hand stitching, you're not having to punch through really with the awl. I mean, you'll still use it, like if you have some leather that you didn't get quite fully punched, but it's a lot easier that way, so your hands don't get as tired. So what I would do is I would have these two punched through here, glue these together, let them dry, and then I would start sewing. Let's see, so what I'm going to do next, I will prepare these and then come back, but let me get my needles set up. And again, just keep in mind there's so many different ways to do this. My way's probably not the best way, it's probably not the perfect way, but it's the way that I did it when I was hand sewing. So, you could take a little bit from me, take a little bit from somebody else, and make your own method. I mean, that's what most people do in leather working, is they just kind of, see what other people do, and then they just kind of, make their own style. One style's not right versus the other. So, just find what works best for you. So, I'm getting these open here. Okay. They don't want you to get your needles out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 needles and I'm going to take my thread, and I hope you can see all this. If you can't, I'm going to redo this video because I can't really tell because I don't have a cameraman, so I kind of got it set up. And you may just be seeing the wall right now in my head popping in and out, but let's see here. I will take some thread. Of course, now it'll be longer if you're sewing a noseband. But what I would do is make sure it's double the length. I would do one side then the other. Make sure it's double the length. What you're going to want to do, excuse me, is you're going to want to find your points here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one needle, place that through. Now some people tie it off. Since this thread is so waxy and it just kind of stays, I would just kind of just fold it over and just kind of twist it a little bit, and it would stay together just fine. You know, sometimes it would come out, but I mean, I don't know. I did it this way just because that way if I had a knot, it seemed like it was harder to pull through, so I just kind of take that, kind of twist it, and so you have your 2 needles and you have your thread. I'm going to go punch my holes, get them punched through, and then I will come back and show you how to sew. Okay, so I have my 4 holes punched. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take them, I just take some leather cement. I need to get a new bottle. This one's kind of old and it's kind of good. There we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my cement, if I have any left. I may not have any left. So we may just... There we go. And just put some around there. And take the 2 pieces, line them up. Now my pieces aren't going to be really lined up because I don't have them all cut out even together. But what I'm going to try and do here is get these holes even together. And that's why you really want to use your edge guide. And you want to be sure that you get the holes punched evenly. Now, like I said, that's just how I did it. I found it really easy for me to do it that way. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just punch the hole on the top side, and then they'll use the awl and punch through to the other side. But since I'm dealing with thicker leather for nosebands, I just find it easier to do it this way. It's less stress on my hands. So because these are, just to show you, these are 2 pieces of, these are about 9 to 10 ounce. It really doesn't, I don't find much difference between 8 and 9 and 9 and 10. But these are both 2 9 and 10 ounces. When I was hand sewing, I kind of used the 8 and 9 together. Really not much difference. But now I have the machine, I can use however thickness I want. And my hands don't feel it. Let's see here. I don't have one done. But this is just, you know, the thickness. Of course, I got to finish that edge. But that is what I use now. But let's get back to the hand sewing. So I have my holes lined up. What I'm going to do is take my awl and I'm going to push it through. And I'm going to find my hole. Again, like I said, you may have some leather that's kind of left over. So you just want to use this awl to push through. Now you also kind of, I've done this a little bit, so you kind of got to be careful. See how the holes are set at a diamond shape, you know, because you have your diamond and your diamond. This is kind of bent. You want to make sure it's straight. And you want to be sure and line this diamond up with the hole when you're punching through. That way you get a nice clean hole. That's a little bit better than the first. First is kind of big. And then, let's see, you just want to kind of push it through and then pull back straight out. Never pull back this way, that way. Always pull straight out. And these pieces aren't dry, so they're kind of sliding around. And I push this through, and then I pull out. And see, another thing is, I don't know if you can see this. I'll take this over here. This is a clamp that I got just from a Harbor Freight store. And what you can use is when you're sewing. I kind of got this at the end of my hand sewing career, so I really didn't get to use it as much. But what you can do is take your two pieces of leather. I'm doing this all two-handed, so whoop.